1-800-600-5920.
Live from the WHBC Broadcast Center. Find out more about area businesses, agencies, and events.
It's what's going on right now.
This is Spotlight on Stark County with Pam Cook and Gary Rivers.
It's time to get into another Wednesday morning edition of Spotlight. Day before Thanksgiving.
I know it. That means holidays officially arriving, right?
Right.
Because we're at Thanksgiving Eve now.
Mm-hmm.
So welcome to everyone to Spotlight on Stark County. We do this every Wednesday morning at 9 o'clock. And, of course, you can always check us live on Facebook as well at 1480 WHBC. If you have not liked our Facebook page, go do it. And you can see all the interviews that we do on video as well and get a close-up look at Gary's face to start things off.
Oh, there we go, yeah.
There's something that brings people to the... But we have something much more important to talk about, and we're so happy to have Tammi-Mackey Shrum in studio with us. We're going to talk about historic Zoar Village and, of course, Christmas in Zoar coming up not this weekend, but next weekend. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
I'm excited about this because, well, I kind of feel like Zoar is just... It's Christmas there like all year round, in my opinion, just because there's just so many cool things about Zoar. I used to live down that way and drive through quite frequently, but it's just such an awesome place.
I think you're right. I think it's magical.
Yeah,
is
that's
the word
it.
to describe it. And you feel like you're just taken to a different time and place, and it's just magic when you're down there.
Yeah, absolutely. So Christmas in Zoar comes up December 2nd and 3rd. Tell us a little bit about that.
We do this every year. It's our big kind of Christmas celebration. We have a outdoor tent that is full of crafters. There's crafters in the schoolhouse. We have wagon rides through the village. Saturday night we have a church service that's done by candlelight, and then we do a tree lighting ceremony, including the big tree in the garden. This year we have a designer showcase in the Miller home, this is the first time it's been open since 2008. And then we also have 3 private homes that people can tour that are decorated for Christmas.
Yeah, see, it just takes you back to the 1800s having a traditional Christmas, which is pretty nice.
And a really traditional, yeah.
Yeah, It just takes you back to a different time.
It does, especially the candlelight service, because it needs to be in the church where the Separatists would have had their service, and then you have candlelights, and then go out, and there's modern lights, but a lot of the greenery and the decorations around town are the traditional greens, and it's really nice. We have Santa Claus, and we have Belsnickel, who's more traditional.
Who?
His name is Belsnickel.
Belsnickel?
Belsnickel.
Yes.
What does he do?
Who is Belsnickel?
Belsnickel's kind of the creepy counterpart to Santa. I don't know how else to put it.
But the kids love him.
No, I don't know that they do.
Oh.
But this is our first time trying it. He's dressed more like he'd be in the woods.
Oh.
He's covered in furs.
I see him.
Yeah, Belsnickel's thing was he would come to your house.
Yeah.
You'd have to recite a verse for him.
To have him go away?
Yes, and then if you didn't get your verse correct, he would switch you. And if you did it right, you'd get a treat. So what we're going to do is if they do it wrong, then they're wrong. If they get it right, then they get a treat.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That sounds like the nuns in my 3rd grade math class. With a ruler,
But he is very traditional for the part of Germany that the Separatists were from. So we're trying to bring him in as we're trying to bring in more German heritage back to Zoar.
Was Belsnickel a part of early Americana down in Zoar?
He was, especially with the Pennsylvania Dutch. And especially Pennsylvania. A lot of the early German and Swiss immigrants brought Belsnickel with them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I Googled it.
Right.
Just so we know. A crotchety, fur-clad Christmas gift bringer.
Yeah.
In the folklore in the region of southern Germany along the Rhine.
I see.
Also preserved in Pennsylvania Dutch.
How about
So
that?
that's exactly it.
Yeah,
So
you described it very
returns.
well.
Yes.
Belsnickel.
But regular Santa will be there.
There's a Stephen King novel there somewhere.
I know, right?
The Return of Belsnickel.
That's right.
That's cool, though.
And why are the children missing? All right, we'll stop on that. Well, what an interesting... And I think that'll be really nice. I just don't want to be switched, but I mean...
No, that's what I think. Yeah, like I said, we're trying to bring a lot of the German heritage back to Zoar, and that's kind of one of the goals of the bicentennial was to get more German influence. Like we had Mayfest that had the German beer, German music, that sort of thing. So Belsnickel
we like that tradition.
Yes, we like the German
Well, now
beer,
German tradition was also the Christmas tree, right? But did Zoar have the Christmas tree, or was that a different part of Germany?
That region they would have had the Christmas tree, but in Zoar religion came first, and then they didn't really have a big tree themselves. They might have had a little individual tree
Charlie
in their
Brown
household.
kind of
Just something simple like a little broomstick tree, but nothing too elaborate.
Got it. All right. I guess maybe that would be for another history lesson on really the folks who lived down in Zoar at the time. They were simple people, correct?
They were religious. I don't know so much as simple. I mean, religion was the center of life. But their thing was they lived communally. So if they got in, they didn't have simple plain dress like we're used to for the Amish. They would wear patterns, they would wear colors, they would wear prints. But if you got in a bolt of fabric, her and I would wear the same exact dress. Everything had to be exactly the same.
Okay.
Boy, made for a tough prom.
Yes, it did. Yes.
Well, it made for good no fighting over who looks, better in a different dress, right?
Well, the seam is different on mine. And
yes.
All right, so you've got a lot of events. Do you have costume characters going around as well, folks in early Americana kind of Zoar dress?
We do. Each of the historic buildings that will be open will have a costume interpreter inside. So, and they dress in the traditional separatist style.
All right, so if I go to those buildings, what happens? I mean, they will talk to you about maybe the history a little bit?
Yeah, they talk about the history, and then certain buildings like the blacksmith shop, the tin shop, the bakery, they will all have live working demos to show you the craft of the building.
Okay. Yeah, that's what you have to remember about Zoar is that it's not just like the center of town and there's one building and there's the tree. I mean, there's a lot to see there.
Yeah, we have 10 museum buildings and almost all of them will be open for Christmas in Zoar.
Wow, 10 museum buildings. That's amazing.
So you just go through. Now the event itself is December 2nd and 3rd, right?
Correct, yes.
So is there a cost for folks to get into the whole thing?
Yeah, it's only $8, and then children 12 and under are free. And that gets you all activities, that gets you the church service, that gets you the wagon rides, admission to all 10 of the buildings, that gets you every activity.
That's great.
All right, so it's Saturday, December 2nd, starts at 10 a.m. and goes until 6. How long really should you spend your time there? I mean, if your family of 4 goes to Zoar for the event, is it a 2-hour? Is it a 5-hour? What do you recommend?
Depends on how interested you are. Usually a regular tour, we tell people to leave themselves 2 hours. So if you're really interested in the history and the buildings, I'd leave yourself at least a good hour and a half to do that. And then there's 3 private homes to tour. So I think if I'd say at least 3 hours. I mean, you could probably spend the entire day there, and I think you should.
All right, well, if we are, then the next conversation is about food.
Yes.
But why don't we get to that in a moment? Why don't we take our first break? We'll be right back talking about Christmas in Zoar.
If you missed Canton's morning news
with Pam Cook,
you missed this.
Inside Canton City Government, Mayor Tom Burnaby. We've got some stories out of council. Let's talk about the one affecting police officers.
And that was good timing. We received notification from the Department of Justice that the City of Canton will receive for the year 2017 what is known as the COPS grant in the amount of $1 million. It's got matching grant funds that the city has to put up, but enables us to retain 8 police officers on our police force.
Join Pam Cook for Canton's Morning News.
Get a free gift card at Elder Beerman. Be one of the first 200 customers to come into your nearest Elder Beerman department store starting at 11 a.m. Thanksgiving Day and receive a free Elder Beerman gift card valued between $5 and $500 with no merchandise exclusions. A guaranteed $500 winner at every store. So hurry into Elder Beerman's after Thanksgiving sale. Elder Beerman. Better brands, bigger savings. No purchase necessary while supplies last. Limit 1 per customer. Must be 18 or older to receive a gift card. Please see store for details.
The Christmas season starts in Zoar December 2nd and 3rd when the historic village comes to life with a celebration of old world customs, holiday crafts, decorated homes, and the museum. Crafters, carolers, and cooks bring back the magic of Christmas past in the 1850s. The village is decorated for the holidays in authentic details, and Saturday features a candlelight church service and tree lighting in the garden. For details, visit historiczorvillage.com. There is an admission charge, but parking is free. Start the holidays in Zoar December 2nd and 3rd. Happy holidays!
Message and data rates may apply. Please don't text while driving.
Do you know the top 3 promotional items for driving new customers?
We do. Do you know how to make your logo come alive and magnetically attract new, long-lasting customers? We do. And do you know how to ensure your logo is delivered on the right promotional items on time at a great price? We do. 100% satisfaction guaranteed. Who are we? We're 4imprint, the nation's leading team to make your logo shine on your choice of thousands of promotional items. And right now, we want to share with you, for free, the top 3 promotional items for driving new customers. Discover them now by texting TOP to 88988. Let us show you what a difference the right promotional items can make to help grow your brand. With 4imprint, you'll get high-quality products, exclusive items, popular brands, on-time delivery, and outstanding customer service. That's what we do. Discover the top 3 promotional items for driving new customers by texting TOP to 88988. That's TOP to 88988.
Hiring is important, but finding the right people can be a real challenge. That's why ZipRecruiter is obsessed with finding you qualified candidates fast. ZipRecruiter finds candidates with the right experience and notifies them to apply for your job. No wonder 80% of employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within just 1 day. The right candidates are out there. This is how you find them. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
To try ZipRecruiter for free, just go to ZipRecruiter.com/talkradio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/talkradio.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
It takes a lot of courage to face your own death, but I'm glad I finally did. See, I was putting off getting life insurance to protect my family, even though I knew it was important. Then my neighbor's husband died. I watched her struggle emotionally and financially. It really made me face reality. If my husband died, how would I pay the mortgage, the car payments, or keep up the life the kids and I had? I realized I needed to get us life insurance right away. So I called AIG Direct. In less than 5 minutes, I had a quote. I was shocked at how affordable it is. Just $14 a month for $250,000 of term life coverage. I feel so much better knowing my family has protection.
Call AIG Direct right now for a free no-obligation quote. The call takes less than 5 minutes, and you can save up to 70%. Call now, 1-800-500-9419. That's 1-800-500-9419. 1-800-500-9419.
An important message from Medicare.
It's Medicare open enrollment now through December 7th.
Time to go online and look at all your Medicare plan choices.
Like prescription drug plans and Medicare Advantage plans from private insurers.
Look for lower costs, more benefits. I'm open to that.
Every year, plans change. So can your health needs.
Open to something better? Start today. Use the tools at Medicare.gov.
Or call 1-800-MEDICARE.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Now back to Spotlight with Pam and Gary.
All right, we return to Spotlight on Zoar, and specifically Christmas in Zoar, and more specifically, food at Christmas in Zoar.
He always goes there.
Have to go down that path there. Well, I mean, if you're going to spend 2-3 hours somewhere and you're really enjoying that step back in time, I'm assuming you can really step back in time in food. Am I correct?
Yes, we will have, we have a descendant there that makes Zoar recipe pretzels, so those will be there for sale. Mm-hmm. Our bakery also has baked goods and also cider and ginger cookies, just for free for people to sample.
Nice.
2 of the local churches have food booths there, so you can support not only Zoar, but also one of the local churches. Yeah. And then if you really wanted to go to a restaurant, we have the Firehouse Grill, which is right in town. And then right outside of town is the Canal Tavern of Zoar.
Yeah, and I think a lot of folks would like to, make the day and have the day. Yeah. Hey, can I go back to the pretzels? Because that's a German Christmas thing too, right?
Yeah, Belsnickel loved those.
Belsnickel loved that.
That keeps Belsnickel away.
All right, so the story of that was the folded arms, right?
Yes.
And these are traditional German pretzels. Are they different than what we're buying down at Fisher's?
Somewhat, and this is an original Zoar recipe. They're made by a descendant, and it's been handed down generations in her family, and they are wonderful and delicious.
I mean, are they thick? Are they crunchy? What kind of pretzels are they?
They're, I don't know, like medium size, a little bit of crunch on the bottom, and then just the right amount of salt on top, and she refuses to serve them unless they're warm. So they're amazing because they're
she
always
must be
warm.
very busy that day.
All day
then.
she bakes them fresh.
Oh my gosh!
See,
that's
there
amazing.
we go. We need a traditional German pretzel.
Yeah. Yes.
Next time, you're not allowed in here without the warm
Without a
pretzels.
pretzel, all right.
Okay.
All right.
Well, we should say, for those who are just tuning in, Tammi-Mackey Shrum, Christmas in Zoar is our spotlight on Stark County today. And this is on Saturday, December 2nd, and Sunday, December 3rd, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Saturday, and then noon to 5 on Sunday. It's a 2-day event, so folks can, like you, Gary was saying, I mean, I think it is true. People go and they want to do a little bit, then maybe they want to take a little break and, you know, just kind of.
Well, if I'm going to head down to Zoar, I would do that. I would take that little trip, but then should we make the reservations in the restaurants because will they be that busy?
I think it probably wouldn't hurt to call ahead, for the restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love this idea. I think that would be great.
Yeah.
You get that little history, and you know, sometimes kids, you know, like mine, I go, well, you know, it's, you know, well, until you get to the Belsnickel story, they're like, oh, history. You know, it's tough to get them to get in that, but once they do, it's fun.
It is fun, and I'm a big history nerd, so I always think that history is fun, and that's I love my job, I love what I do, and that's I like sharing it. But I think especially in Zoar, it's such a different history that it's just fun to tell, and it has things like the Belsnickel and living communally, and you know, coming from Germany and having all those German traditions. It's different, so it's fun.
And we should tell folks where Zoar is in case they don't know. If you go from Canton, if you go south on 77, you get off at the Bolivar exit. That's 212. It'll just follow it, right, make a left off the exit, and it'll take you right into Zoar.
Right, yes.
Or if you want to come down State Route 800, you can do that as well. That's what I used to do. Take the detour. Instead of going the back roads to the grocery store, I would go down and then catch 212 and go through Zoar, so I could always look at the beautiful decorations and lights. You know, it was always it's very easy to find, and once you are upon it, you know you're upon it.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. Yeah.
All right. Well, and while we're at that, let's talk the history of the Zoar. You know, you can say they were founded by German separatists. What's a German separatist?
They were from the German states, and the separatist comes from they were trying to separate themselves from the established Lutheran church that was basically in charge of Germany at the time.
In Germany, at one point, was Roman Catholic, but then Martin Luther changed Lutheran, all of a sudden took over that. So what were they separate from? It was a religious distinction or difference?
Yeah, they didn't quite believe what the Lutherans did, and in the German states at the time, you had the choice of either being Catholic or Lutheran,
right? And
you didn't really get to choose whatever your state was. That's
if you were different, Belsnickel would come by and smack you with a switch.
Yes, he would.
He would switch you.
So that's what made them separate. Was trying to separate from the church, and they just had different. Like one of their big beliefs was they would not bow to anyone or have a leader other than the Lord.
Got it. So Martin Luther or the Pope would be
correct.
Not so good.
Right, or Napoleon Bonaparte. And some of them, when they were imprisoned, actually refused to bow to Napoleon. And it could have ended very poorly for them, but Napoleon was so impressed that they had, you know, the nerve to do that he kind of pardoned them. So,
wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, I didn't know that.
But he had his hand in his shirt, and there was a gun there.
Right.
And if they had stepped out of line once too many. That's just a theory. I don't know if that's true or not.
You just made that up right now.
Kind of hard to hide a gun back then. But yeah, because they were muskets.
Yeah,
like,
okay.
Oh my goodness.
All right, but all right. So it's interesting because this country really was founded by a lot of folks from religious sects who were oppressed especially in Europe, coming in from their different countries, and so here were the German separatists. Why did they choose, South Central Ohio? Why did they choose Zoar?
Well, they first landed, the Quakers actually helped them come over to the United States, and they were actually in Philadelphia for a while with the Quakers. The Quakers had wanted them to stay there,
right.
And they, in the meantime, wanted to have their own land established, and they wanted to be around the Philadelphia area, but then one of the veterans that got land here in Ohio had sold his land, and that came up for the separatists to buy, and so since it was a good deal on the land here in Ohio, they left, and then that kind of caused a little bit of a tiff with the Quakers because they had wanted them to stay there, but that's how they settled in Ohio.
Quakers were too peaceful, though.
They weren't going to say anything.
They weren't going to really fight.
Anything, no.
So they ended up in the community and created the community of Zoar. What does Zoar mean?
Zoar is a biblical term, and that is actually after Sodom and Gomorrah, where Lot and the others fled, and it was a place of safe haven.
Safe haven.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So here it is. So it lasted like 80 some years, but what happened that it broke up?
Kind of the outside world. You have, a couple generations that have been living communally by this point. They have the hotel that has a lot of people coming in that are bringing the outside influence in. What they did at the hotel, which was different than anywhere else, usually if you worked, you were given all of the things that you needed, but for whatever reason at the hotel, when you were working, if I wanted to give you a tip, you were allowed to keep it. And then so that brought in extra ribbons and different little frivolities that, other people didn't have. And then I think plus too, it's 1898. I mean, think of all the changes that happened right around that time.
This was the industrialization of America. Yes. The motor car was just ready
motor car, electricity. I mean, all of this stuff that I think the world was just changing anyway.
Yeah. So then it just kind of, what did it do? Just implode? Eventually the families left. Are there still families there?
There are still descendants. And what they had done, they actually voted to dissolve. And then they brought in some people to kind of evaluate the land and the holdings. And they tried to split it as equally as what they could amongst the people that were left.
But with all those generations, that might have, it is what it is. Okay, here you go. I got 300 kids. You each get a quarter acre.
Right. Yeah. So, and there are still descendants today. We have a descendant group that meets, and they have reunions. So there's definitely descendants out there. And
are there any who still live much? I don't want to say much like, but with the same religious principles as the separatists?
Not so much with the same religion. And actually, the mayor of town is a descendant. And he goes to the church right there in Zoar, so he's worshiping in the same place that his ancestors did. But I don't think many people follow the religion.
Yeah, so that just kind of went its way.
Yeah, it's interesting how all of the buildings and all of those things then were saved as well. I mean, the preservation in that town is
amazing.
It is.
Yeah,
amazing.
How did that happen?
Yeah.
That where it didn't become, well, let's turn this one down and build up a bigger community, if you will.
Right. I think because they did live all together as a group until 1898, and then the first museum building was established in 1930. So there's really not that much of a gap between, people actually, and it still remained a community. So they didn't want to destroy what they had. So it's not that much of a gap between actual start of preservation efforts because they realized what they had was special. And then when the community dissolved. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it became a small town, if you will, but they had a history together, if you will.
Yeah.
And some of the buildings were, like the blacksmith shop was in complete disrepair, so that's been rebuilt. But then a lot of the buildings, too, you became, the owner of it, or like the hotel went to the people to run. So I think that's why they preserved it, because like I said, why would you really, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
So here we have it today, where now, then somewhere along the line, an association and you and others before you came along and said, let's preserve all of this.
And I think we're very fortunate. And like I said, last year we became a National Historic Landmark. So I think more and more people are recognizing just how significant and the significance of the preservation itself and our continued efforts to preserve it.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, this history lesson brought to you by the Zoar Historical Society.
Christmas in Zoar, December 2nd and 3rd. We'll talk more about that here coming up after the news.
High school football playoffs at WHBC.
Going deep over the middle. Got him, man. Coacher, touchdown. Wow. On the numbers, Thomas should get it. He does. Straight ahead. Touchdown. That was brutal. Boy, when he puts his head down, Joe, people go backwards.
The Masson Tigers have made it to the state semis. Join us Friday night from Columbus as they take on Whitten Woods, plus on WHBCSports.com. Another Division II battle between Hoban and Avon.
I'm Nate Moore, head football coach of the Masson Tigers. There's only one place for high school football, 1480 WHBC.
'Tis the season to wrap up some holiday savings on a new or used vehicle. Just in the nick of time, Friends and Family Credit Union will put you on Santa's nice list with outstanding rates and terms up to 84 months. Stop and visit with Tim, Chris, Howard, or Becky. They'll secure the vehicle you want at the rate you can afford. And you can refinance your bah humbug high-interest loan from another financial institution. Friends and Family Credit Union has 3 full-service locations to serve you. Online at friendsandfamilycu.com, in the palm of your hand with mobile banking, or like us on Facebook. Facebook. Additional restrictions may apply. All rates and promotions are subject to change without notice. This institution is not federally insured. They are privately insured by ASI up to $250,000 per account. You're just in the nick of time to wrap up some holiday savings on a new or used vehicle loan at Friends and Family Credit Union. This holiday season, it's time to bring a friend into the family.
Menard's Christmas catalog is a wonderland of holiday savings. Quality power tools from Bosch make a great gift for the handy person on your list. Like a powerful Bosch 18-volt half-inch drill kit with 2 slim-pack lithium-ion batteries, charger, belt clip, and carrying bag, holiday priced at just $99. Offers good through December 2nd. Plus, a Menard's gift card always makes a great gift.
More season's greetings to you all from Menard's. This is WHBC AM Canton. News Talk 1480 WHBC.
I'm Jim Michaels with 1480 WHBC News at 33 degrees now. With lots of college students and family members back in town, it's a big night for hitting local watering holes. Several area law enforcement agencies, though, will be doing sobriety checkpoints tonight. Stark County Sheriff's Office setting up in Jackson Township. They say impaired driving can land you in prison and cost you a bundle.
You can hurt yourself or hurt somebody else, and that's more importantly what we want to get out there is we want to make sure everyone is safe on the roadways during the holiday season.
Major C.J. Stantz, the Sheriff's Office, funded to do checkpoints and saturation patrols for the next year in the county. A Summit County Sheriff's deputy who's also a former mayor of Canal Fulton charged with domestic violence. Lieutenant John Grogan arrested over the weekend after his wife filed a report with police. He's free on bond. Grogan had other issues with the sheriff's office while he was mayor. A woman injured in a tree trimming accident from last week has died. 46-year-old Jessica Richmond of Barberton suffered an electric shock when the cherry picker she was in came in contact with a power line. 38-year-old George Seacos of New Franklin was working alongside her. Then he was electrocuted. Richmond's death attributed to the trauma she suffered when thrown from the truck. And the search continues for 3 members of the U.S. Navy missing after a crash near Japan early this morning, our time. A plane was headed back to a Navy ship.
Earlier this month, the aircraft carrier USS Ronald Reagan joined 2 other carriers off the Korean Peninsula for the first time since the late 60s in a show of force to North Korea. At the time of the clash, the carrier was training with the Japanese military. This is the latest accident for the Navy's Japan-based 7th Fleet and comes after 2 separate collisions at sea this summer involving guided missile destroyers, USS Fitzgerald and USS John S. McCain, which killed 17 sailors.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson. More 1480 WHBC News at 10 o'clock.
Hall of Fame City weather.
Here's your AccuWeather.com forecast. Sunshine will mix with clouds today. It is going to be much colder than it was yesterday, so bundle up. The high only 35. Partly cloudy and dropping to 25 tonight. And tomorrow for Thanksgiving, it's going to be cloudy and chilly, but it does look tranquil with a high of 41. Plenty of sunshine on Friday and a little milder with a high of 49. I'm meteorologist Maggie Johnson for News Talk 1480 WHBC.
When it comes to the holidays, the hustle and bustle doesn't stop. Well, unless your car breaks down. Whatever this season brings, it helps to have Hum by Verizon. Hum is the connected car system that assists and empowers drivers. Now you can check your car's health from your phone, get help if you're stuck on the side of the road, and if Hum detects a crash, it can automatically notify emergency services. It's a smart way to stay informed about your car and keep your family safer on the road. This holiday season, get Hum and get where you're going. Visit hum.com or your local Verizon store for special holiday savings.
Now back to Spotlight with Pam and Gary.
All right, back to the second half of our Spotlight this morning on, of course, Zoar, and specifically Christmas in Zoar.
Spotlight on Stark County. Of course, you can hear us every Wednesday morning at 9 o'clock. Also, don't forget, you can go to our Facebook page, 1480 WHBC, and check out all the interviews that we do. We do them live on Facebook. We're doing it live on Facebook right now, so make sure you check this out. And we have in studio with us from historic Zoar, Tammi-Mackey Shrum. And we've been talking off the air about all of the events that are coming up. And it's Saturday and Sunday, December 2nd and 3rd, which is not this weekend, next weekend. Let's start with Saturday. What are the hours and what kind of things can people expect on Saturday?
Saturday is 10 to 6. We have wagon rides. We have Santa and Belsnickel. All 10 museum buildings will be open, and then there'll be private homes that'll be on tour. And then the evening will end with the candlelight service in the church, followed by a tree lighting outside the church, and then the big tree in the garden.
Yeah, the big tree. That's the cool thing.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
So when the folks give these tours that who live in these homes, do they have jobs outside of this, or are they museum executors having to run this? So who lives in Zoar?
A little bit of everybody.
Really?
There's lawyers. There's beauticians. Trying to think who else. There's doctors. There's a dentist in town.
So part of their deal is, by the way, it's an historic home, and would you participate in some of these events we have?
Yeah. So we usually go around each year and ask, would you be willing to open? A couple of them are pretty regular in opening, just because they like it.
Well, they probably love it. It's you're a part of history,
right? We do have this year. It's a rare opportunity. The original 1817 cabin is going to be open.
Wow.
And he has not allowed it to be open since 1979. So this is a very rare treat that everyone will. I've never, other than the other day when I went to go, write up a history of it, I had never been in there. So it's a very rare treat.
Now, does he live there, or has it just been shuttered and kept intact, so to speak?
It's been in his family for a long time, so he keeps up with it, and
And make sure. But now opening it up for this year would be fascinating, I would think.
Yes, and it is. It's so neat because it's the absolute original cabin that they built when they first got to Zoar. The little party that went ahead to start building things so most of the group could come. So it was the first house, the first meeting house, the first church. It's really neat. In the ceiling, you can see there's actually a cutout in the ceiling that's been since been plastered over. But they used to, because men and women had to be separate in church, so the men would be downstairs as Joseph Beimiller was preaching, and then the women were upstairs, and they would look through the little hole in the ceiling with the kids to watch the church service.
That's amazing.
So you can still see that. You can still see some of the bark on some of the logs. I mean, it's a really neat piece of history.
Oh, my. And that will be open the whole time, so folks can take that tour.
Yes, yeah.
All right, and that's all, by the way, a part of the $8 admission for adults, but
Correct,
$312 and under. Got it.
And what are the other museums that are in Zoar?
A couple of the other private homes are the Assembly House, where the workers would go to get their daily assignment. And then the third house was actually one of the last ones built in Zoar, and it's a Victorian style, so it's towards the end of the separatist time there. But as far as museum buildings go, we'll have the number 1 house will be open, the bakery, the tin shop, the blacksmith shop, the kitchen and magazine. They'll be making sauerkraut in the kitchen.
Of course.
So I might stay away. I don't like the smell. The sewing house will be open, the garden house, and then the Beimiller home, which just opened up this year after 10 years of being closed down. It went under massive restoration, and this year it was an art gallery. So for Christmas, it's going to be a designer showcase.
Oh, nice.
And explain who Beimiller is.
Beimiller was kind of the unofficial, official leader of Zoar.
Okay.
So.
And you were saying, and he was also the preacher.
Yes, and he was also the doctor and and the agent general and pretty much everything.
Kind of like Andy Griffith, right, in Mayberry. He just kind of handled every role.
Yeah. Did he like that? What was Belsnickel?
I'm sure he did to keep everybody in line. He liked it, so made his job easier.
Belsnickel will be there, by the way. And if you don't know who Belsnickel is, he's like a German mean Santa.
Yeah, that's a good description, yes.
Wow. So he's going to make appearances, or he'll be hiding in the woods? Where will people find Belsnickel?
Santa and Belsnickel will both be in the garden house.
Yeah.
So we're going to have them
Is that like an MMA
separated.
tournament they're going to have?
Yeah, the War of the Santas there. But we're going to have, Santa, and then a nice little sign warning, people that, Belsnickel's coming up. So, because regular Santa's sometimes scary to kids, so I don't know.
Oh, yeah,
we'll have to see how Belsnickel goes. But, yeah.
Some might think he's kind of cool,
right, with all the furs and,
yeah. It's kind of a woodsy scent.
Didn't I see you on a video game? I swear. Interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that'll be nice. Now, does he make a presentation? Does he explain what his role was in the community?
Yeah, he'll have a history that he'll go through, I think, to kind of explain who he is. And then part of the tradition was the children would say a Bible verse, and then if they didn't know it, they'd get switched, and if they knew it, they'd get a treat. So he's going to have them, little kids recite the alphabet or count to 10, and if they can do it, they're going to get a treat.
Nice. And if not?
Then it'll just sit there. They'll have to go until no switching.
No switching.
And then the older kids, we're going to come up with a German phrase for them to have to repeat back for Belsnickel.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
So that'll be fun. And boy, there's just a lot. You also have some music on Saturday night. The Northwest Jazz Ensemble, the Hoover High Notes are going to be there. Tell me about that.
All day in the church, there's different presentations, different local choirs, different local bands, and different groups are going to be performing all throughout the day.
Yeah.
And then when there's not one of the local bands, the original church organ is going to be playing in between.
What a great way to spend the weekend. And Gary was talking earlier, if you're just tuning in, Gary was asking about the food.
Well, yeah, pretzels,
because if you're going to go there and spend a few hours, and, I always find myself with my kids that you spend a few hours, you want to take a little break, and then you spend a few more hours. So there is the opportunity for folks to get something to eat, too, correct?
Yes, there's the original Zoar recipe pretzels. There's items in the bakery, and then 2 of the local churches have food booths. Plus the Firehouse Grill that's right in town, and the Canal Tavern of Zoar that's right outside of the village. And then the Canal Tavern actually serves traditional German cuisine.
See.
So that makes it really nice.
Yeah.
All right. So again, Christmas in Zoar, admission is $8 for adults, children 12 and under free. Now, is this a first come, first serve? Should there be reservations for this? Will it be that crowded, or should we just tell folks to come on out and it should be a fun day?
I think if they just come out, they'll have a fun day. I think the cabin is limited to 10 people inside at a time.
Okay.
So I think if they really want to come for the cabin, to get there kind of early, because I do think there'll be a line most of the day for the cabin. And in the restaurants, I would recommend having a reservation for that. But everything else, we have enough buildings, enough activities that people could be split between.
Yeah. Now, where will the singers be?
They will be in the church.
In the church.
Yes.
Now, what about... you were talking about the tents with the crafters and things like that. And is this going to be stuff that people can purchase or as they go through, or how does that work? Or is it just to look at?
No, they can purchase. It's just like a craft fair.
Okay.
So we'll have different local vendors, all sorts of different crafts. They're all juried to make sure that it's all handcrafted, all hand done. And we make sure that, there's, only a couple candle vendors, or everything is, split kind of even that way. There's some local wooden toys. I know there's Christmas ornaments, Christmas bells, a lot of different really nice crafts. There's one vendor that's new this year that you pick out a gemstone and then they polish it and put it into a piece of jewelry while you wait.
Oh, nice.
So it's really neat. So there's all sorts of crafters inside the tent, which also has some hot mulled cider. And some hot mulled wine that you can purchase. And then the schoolhouse also has a number of vendors inside.
There, so then you can do some Christmas shopping and find some unique gifts there. Mm-hmm. That'd be great.
All right, all a part of Christmas in Zoar, December 2nd and 3rd. We're going to take our final break. We'll come right back. More with Christmas in Zoar on WHBC.
There are power lines down, debris in the
What if we woke up one day and everything just stopped going wrong? No more accidents. No more emergencies.
It's a nice thought, but things do go wrong. Every day, accidents happen.
Reaction crash.
Disasters hit.
The devastation.
And the news isn't always good.
The deadliest mass shooting.
Canton's news talk station's here to help when life doesn't go right.
Massive, unprecedented disaster.
WHBC.
It's Elder Beerman's After Thanksgiving Sale. Stores open at 11 a.m. Thanksgiving Day. Shop over 700 doorbusters until 3 p.m. Friday. And find gifts under $20 for everyone on your list. Great gifts for her, like 1997 Rampage coats and 1997 Rampage boots. Great gifts for him, like 1997 Collegiate Team Fleece. And everything for your home and more, like $14.97 Living Quarters Cold Weather Twin Sheet Sets. Shop online all day Thanksgiving Day. Elder Beerman. Better brands, bigger savings.
What's the scariest thing about going to the dentist? Opening your mouth or opening your wallet? Because just a simple cleaning can cost $100, and things like root canals can cost you hundreds more. If you don't have dental insurance to help, you should give Physicians Mutual Insurance Company a call. 1-800-500-0898. This isn't a discount plan or preventive-only coverage. This is real dental insurance that helps pay for checkups right away, so you can call today and get your teeth cleaned tomorrow. Plus, it helps cover the more expensive procedures you might need down the road. Fillings, crowns, bridges, even costly dentures. There's no deductible and no annual maximum. Your acceptance is guaranteed for one of these insurance policies, even if you're retired or on Medicare. There are no networks, so you can choose any dentist you'd like. That's right, any dentist you want. Call and we'll rush you a free information kit with all the details. 1-800-500-0898. That's 1-800-500-0898. 1-800-500-0898.
Walgreens has good news for everyone who uses Medicare Part B for diabetes testing supplies. We've got your back, or in this case, your test strips. Walgreens accepts Medicare assignment and full coverage supplemental insurance, so you'll pay as low as $0 out of pocket, which is the same as mail order. Pick up the medications you rely on and save on all major brands like Accucheck and Walgreens True Metrics. That's not just good news, it's great news. Talk to your Walgreens pharmacist today. Walgreens, at the corner of happy and healthy.
When you have sleep apnea, traveling can be a real drag because you have to drag your big, bulky home CPAP device with you everywhere you go. But not anymore. Now you can travel easily and sleep comfortably anywhere thanks to Transcend, the world's very first mini CPAP. And right now, you can try Transcend absolutely risk-free for 10 restful nights. So call now. 1-800-600-3585. Our smallest and most advanced portable design ever, Transcend is as small as a soda can and weighs less than a pound. You can even add a battery that's as tiny as a deck of cards. Transcend is so incredibly small and light, you can easily fit it in your briefcase or purse to use anywhere you go. It's FAA compliant too, so you can even sleep comfortably while flying. Now you can enjoy the freedom to sleep comfortably anywhere. But don't delay. To receive your 10-night in-home trial, call minicpap.com now. 1-800-600-3585. Again, that's 1-800-600-3585.
Friday is good. Black Friday is better. But Black Friday at Staples is better than better. Hurry to Staples this Black Friday and get an HP Stream laptop for just $199. That includes 1 year of Office 365 Personal. Staples also has deals on tablets, printers, monitors, and other great holiday gifts. TGIBF. Thank goodness it's Black Friday at Staples, where HP Stream laptops are just $199. Staples. More holiday fun, less holiday hassles.
While supplies last. Valid 11/23 to 11/27/17.
Message and data rates may apply.
Hi, I'm Frank Thomas, the Big Hurt. After I left baseball, I just couldn't stay in shape like I used to. Turns out, once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone, and that can make it harder to get into shape. So I got back into the game with Nugenics. I'm feeling stronger with a lot more energy and drive. You want to get back into shape? Get Nugenics. All you have to do is send one simple text.
Frank's right. Just text LIKE to 42424 to get a complimentary bottle of award-winning Nugenics, the #1 selling free testosterone booster at GNC. Its unique man-boosting formula is powered by Testofen, a patented key ingredient clinically researched to help a man feel stronger, leaner, more energetic, and more passionate.
And guys, she'll like the difference too.
Nugenics samples are not available in stores. To get your complimentary bottle, text LIKE to 42424. That's LIKE to 42424.
Forecasters say this time they expect that band of heavier snow.
When the weather turns nasty.
And it looks like it will be a cold day across most of the Northeast.
Turn to News Talk 1480 WHBC for the Akron Children's Hospital school closings report.
Pam and Canton's Morning News.
We'll let you know whether your school is closed, delayed, or open for business.
School's going to be closed, so make sure you tune into the radio.
Get your school closings from News Talk 1480 WHBC. Brought to you by Akron Children's Hospital,
where we have one focus.
Kids!
Now back to Spotlight with Pam and Gary.
12 minutes before 10 o'clock on News Talk 1480 WHBC. I know, I'm sorry. I get emotional about that when I hear them.
That's okay. We love those little kids. They're little doll babies. Oh, they're Gary's kids, by the way. And we are in studio now. Of course, it is Spotlight on Stark County. We do it every Wednesday morning from 9 till 10. Pam Cook, Gary Rivers, and also in studio with us this morning, Tammi-Mackey Shrum from the historic Zoar Village. And we've been talking about Christmas in Zoar, which is coming up on December 2nd and 3rd. It's a Saturday and Sunday. And admission is $8. Children 12 and under are free. Where can they get more information if they want to find out more? Where should they go?
Our website is historiczoarvillage.com, and we also have Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Yeah, I went to Facebook because I always love that, and I always like to check out, see if there's any pictures and all that kind of fun stuff.
Anything new that's happening down there, because you do have a lot of activities, but this is pretty much going to wrap up your season now, right?
It is, yeah. This is kind of the last big event of the year and then the last big event of the bicentennial. So,
the bicentennial, I forgot. Yeah, that's right. Because we talked about the bicentennial when it was getting started here on this show. Yeah.
So that wraps up. Christmas season kind of ends, and folks, go about, hey, we can actually live with a little bit less traffic through here, if you will. They can still drive by and see all the things.
Yeah, and we keep the Christmas decorations up through the new year. So even if they don't make Christmas in Zoar, they can still drive through and see the tree lit up and everything.
Yeah, but you should get to Christmas in Zoar.
Yeah, you should. Yeah.
Do that during these last 2 days, and then what happens? It kind of folds up until spring, right?
Yeah, we're there and we're planning all the events for 2018, but we'll open back up. The village will open back up in April.
Got it. Now, do you have any new surprises for us in 2018 that you want to, unveil here on this show?
We're bringing back the regular schedule. Plus, we're going to have golf cart tours in the spring and in the fall.
Golf cart tours.
So it gets to go around the village.
That is custom made for me.
It is, Gary. That is perfect for you.
So we have those. Plus, it's a garden tour year. We have a garden tour every other year, so the garden tour will be back. And then we're going to try to have a fiber art day, so something kind of different. And then during the bicentennial, we had Mayfest as an event for the bicentennial, but it proved to be so popular that we're going to bring it back.
What was Mayfest? Was that a traditional German event kind of a thing?
Yeah, it's a traditional German celebration of spring. So it had German music, German food, German beer, and then we had the maypole decorated. So that's all coming back.
Got it.
Yeah, where you grab onto the... Yeah.
I never understood the maypole thing. I never understood that.
It's like a dance of the maidens.
Oh,
yeah.
It's a girl thing,
and I was never invited. So okay, maybe that's why. I guess I never heard the story. So you're bringing that back this year?
Yes, yeah.
That'd be nice.
So I think Mayfest, I think it'll be a really nice event, and like I said, it gets back to that German heritage. Yeah. So we had one local brewery last year. We're going to invite more out, so there'll be even more German beer, and it was really nice to have that kind of pa German music that you could hear all throughout town.
Now, when my brother was visiting Germany, he had warm beer.
I think they say many times that's how they drink it.
That's how they drink it in Germany.
Yeah.
And I was stunned by that. And he's like, he says, I can't find it here. So do you have some of that for folks to imbibe?
Could. Or, if you buy your cold beer, by the time you walk through the whole village, by the time you get back to it, it'll be a warm beer. So
she's good.
I don't think that's what I was thinking, but we'll go with that. Nice. All right. Well, that's what's upcoming in 2018. I just thought folks would like to know, what's on the planning, because I know. During that winter months, you're actively making sure everything for the next year is happening.
We are, and we have the art gallery premiered this year as well, and it's going to have a new exhibit next year. We'll have a new exhibit every year, so that'll premiere in 2018. And our artist, she was very prolific in the mid-1800s. Her name is Lillian Martin Spencer, but she was so prolific as a painter that she was actually the breadwinner of her household. Which is saying a lot for back then. Yeah. And her mother was actually part of a utopian society, so it really fits with Zoar. So that'll be our 2018 art exhibit.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, so that's what we've got coming up. But this year, as we wrap this up, again, December 2nd and 3rd, Saturday the 2nd from 10 a.m. till 6, and Sunday from noon until 5. It's a 2-day event featuring tours of private homes, all decorated for the holidays. Great thing for the family to do. A lot of things for the kids, but watch out for Belsnickel.
Yes.
he's going to be there and what have you. And again, folks invited to the church service, right?
They are, yes, and it'll all be by candlelight, and then immediately afterwards is when everyone will go out for the tree lighting ceremony.
And I guess at 5:15, is it kind of at dusk now? Is it?
Yeah, pretty close by that time in December. Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
and there'll be a tree lighting ceremony, and I guess that's a big thing too, huh?
It is, and we have a tree outside the church, so you don't have to. You can leave the church with your candles, light the tree outside. But then at the same time, if you want to be around the garden and all the lights come on with the big tree and then the trees around in the center of the garden.
Wow. It really is a beautiful sight to see. If you've never seen it, you should definitely take the time to drive down there. We'll say if you go south on 77 from Canton, go to the Bolivar exit. When you get off the exit, make a left. That's 212, and Zoar is on 212. So you just keep following that once you make that left. Same thing if you're coming, if you come down State Route 800, like towards New Philly, when you get to 212, you hang a right. Same difference. Zoar's kind of in the middle of those two roadways, so of 77 and 800. So it's very, very easy to find.
And we should really stress that you have tents that folks can go through and arts and crafts displays, because this is the time of year. It's a perfect day or weekend to go out and maybe get some specialty items.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and these are all handcrafted. They're all by local artisans, so it's really kind of going for that.
I like that jewelry thing you were telling me about.
Yeah, there's one vendor where you pick out a gemstone and they create a piece of custom jewelry for you there on the spot. So
what a great idea. What a great gift idea.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So there's that, and then, of course, there's music. So you can always enjoy that both Saturday and Sunday. And Sunday, we haven't mentioned this, the live manger scene.
We're working on that. It's hard to find people that are available, but we do have a manger scene.
Well, Mary and
out,
Joseph are quite busy that time.
Yeah, they are. So.
And again, we'll remind everyone, $8. That's the admission fee. That's not a lot. And kids 12 and under are free. And historiczoarvillage.com is the website if you want to get some more information. But make a little plan to go down there and spend some time and, look around. And you don't have to spend any money if you don't want to, obviously. It's a great way for kids to learn history, too. That's what I always like.
Well, I like the history. I also like it. It goes back to that early Americana, and this is the way Christmas might have been back in the day. And I know there's a little religious aspect to it. You've got a feature presentation both days, right?
We do. On Saturday, the feature presentation is actually going to be a Civil War Christmas.
Civil War Christmas.
Yeah, so it'll be talking about how they kind of celebrated during the Civil War. It's about a soldier and celebrating Christmas time.
Nice. All right, so that's all a part of it, and you can check it out by heading to Zoar. Again, December 2nd and 3rd. Not this weekend, but next weekend. Should be a great time for everyone. Hey, I asked you this off air, and we didn't get to it. Parking. If you've never been to Zoar, is there a parking lot? Is there
there is parking. We do have a map online, but there'll be parking near the church, and then down on First Street, which is near the hotel and the Firehouse Grill. If people have been down there, they'll be parking in both of those places.
Okay, so there should be no problem with the parking.
And it's easy to find. I'm sure once you get down there, you'll go, oh, okay.
All right.
Very easy.
But recommend really get there early if you can. But if you really want to be for the services, check out online what each of those different things are for and what's the best time to get down there. Right.
Yep.
All right.
And beware of Belsnickel.
Yes. But he won't be holding a switch.
He'll be nice as long as you can answer his question. He'll give you a treat.
Yeah, and it's not. it's spelled BELS nickel, right?
Yes.
Not schnickel, even though it is pronounced.
German, like a nickel.
Schnickel.
Yeah, Belsnickel.
Belsnickel.
All right. The Legend of Belsnickel.
Thank you, Tammy, very much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Snow, ice, and school closings are around the corner. Before you go, check road conditions with Canton's